Hello and welcome back to the Indie Skies YouTube channel, where today the forecast is looking blue because we're talking about sad songs. Great art tends to elicit emotions, make us feel things. And right back to the ancient Greek tragedies, and before that I'm sure, people have been creating art that tells sad stories, tries to make sense of bad things that have happened, and throughout history people have connected with them. There's something about sad art that plays a special role in society. It can validate and put into words things you're feeling yourself, maybe things you haven't been able to explain or haven't felt able to face alone. Sometimes, especially these days, we're so desensitized and overwhelmed by life, we need a little something extra to help us tap into our emotions, maybe even have a little cry to let it all out. So what we're going to do today is have a look at some of the saddest songs of all time. We've got a couple of categories to go through and you'll see what I mean. These are mainly indie and indie adjacent songs because that's what I know, and that's where I need you guys to come in. Let me know in the comments below what you think the saddest songs of all time are in any genre. Making this video kind of killed me, so I'd appreciate a like. I'm definitely a different man than I was before I started writing it. And just before we get into it, you probably knew this when you clicked on the video, but we're going to be delving into some songs with some pretty heavy and confronting themes and lyrics, so just keep that in mind. No matter where you are in the world, whether like me, you're in the middle of summer, or like many of you, it's the depths of winter, I hope you're keeping healthy and happy. Life can get pretty tough sometimes, and when you're struggling it can be hard to see a way out. But a way out does always exist. Things do get better. And in the description I'll leave a link to a website with hotlines for basically every country in the world for people to call when things are really feeling like too much. With that being said, let's get into it. Okay, first up we're going to look at songs that broadly explore the theme of a death of a loved one. And there's lots of these to mention, so they'll be spread out throughout the video. But first up, let's talk about Poison Oak by Bright Eyes. Okay, Bright Eyes, or I guess specifically lead singer Conor Oberst, is one of those artists, and we'll mention a few more later, who could have had about 20 entries on this list. Conor's music is melancholy at best and downright dismal at times, and Poison Oak may well be his saddest song. The sad atmosphere is established by the sparse guitar and the intimate, almost whispered vocals, which do eventually swell, shaking with emotion as the song goes on. But of course, it's the story Conor is telling that makes the song so sad. Conor has since clarified that the song is about his cousin who took his own life when he was 23. We can infer that he had substance abuse issues, something that Conor has also struggled with throughout his life. And the song makes reference to the two being close when they were young, playing with tin can phones and falling asleep next to each other. And his death clearly had a big impact on Conor. Lines like, "But me, I'm a single cell on a serpent's tongue. There's a muddy field where the garden was. I'm glad you got away, but I'm still stuck out here. My clothes are soaking wet from your brother's tears," are really jarring, hinting at the complicated situation of feeling left behind by someone you've always done things with together, and being happy that the person in question is no longer suffering, but feeling resentment for the hole they've left in your life, the burden you now must carry. Okay, next up let's talk about The Window by Ratboys. This is one of those songs that may not sound super sad on first listen, especially if you're not really paying attention to the lyrics. On the surface it's an open indie rock tune. There's a fairly energetic guitar riff, the vocals are very sweet, and the tone isn't particularly somber. But when you focus on the lyrics and read into the context behind them, it's absolutely heart-wrenching, to the point where I have to skip this song whenever I'm listening to this album. The songwriter, Julia Steiner's grandma, passed away in June 2020, right at the height of the pandemic. Not from COVID, but because of all the restrictions at the time, her husband, Julie's grandpa, was unable to visit her in person to say goodbye. And while she was sick, he spent time outside her window, looking in at her, talking to her, and finally saying goodbye to her through the window. A lot of the lyrics are direct quotes from him around that time, and lines like, "I only saw your shape, but I need to tell you everything before it's too late, that I don't regret a single day," and the refrain on the bridge of "Sue, Sue, you'll always be my girl," are pretty devastating. Okay, next let's go to Real Death by Mount Eerie. This entire album, A Crow Looked at Me, is one of the more challenging listens out there. It's just so devastating and raw. It was written and recorded in a 6-week period following the death of Phil Elverum's wife, Genevieve, after her battle with pancreatic cancer. And it's an intensely immediate confrontation of the pain he was feeling. You could pick almost any song on the album for this video, but I think Real Death might be the most unflinching. It's incredible the way Phil managed to transform his grief into art. It's really brave to bare your soul like this, and I hope it brought him some catharsis. Every line of the song is tragic, but the story about his wife, unbeknownst to Phil, ordering a backpack for their daughter's first day at school, an occasion which was still years away, an occasion which she understood she wouldn't be present for, the bag arriving a week after her death as a surprise for Phil and the child, is absolutely gut-wrenching.
Week after you died, a package with your name on it came, and inside was a gift for our daughter.
Okay, moving on, and this next bunch of songs is loosely based around depression. So let's start with How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead. Written in the wake of OK Computer's release, Thom Yorke was stretched thin, not coping with the constant touring, attention and responsibility. This song exudes the feeling of wanting to disappear, preferring to just ignore what's happening, feeling hopeless and unable to cope, feeling like you've given your all and are just so sick and so tired of having to try. And that feeling is captured so perfectly here, both in the lyrics, of course in the chorus of I'm not here, this isn't happening, but also in the soundscape. It's one of Radiohead's best songs, the gentle bass, the moving strings. It's also measured, so chilling, Tom's voice is so icy. It's really amazing. Okay, next let's talk about Between the Bars by Elliot Smith. Elliot Smith is another artist who could have multiple songs in this video, but I've chosen Between the Bars, which is a moving and kind of disturbing track. Like a lot of Elliot's songs, it's a little ambiguous, but I've always taken it to be about alcohol addiction. Specifically, a drink talking to an alcoholic, promising them everything will be alright if they just keep drinking. Do what I say and I'll make you okay, and drive them away, the images stuck in your head. And I think it's a mirror, showing the inner thoughts of an alcoholic, rationalizing what they're doing. And of course, I take the title to have the double meaning of bars, as in places where people drink, as well as the bars of a metaphorical prison being stuck in the grip of addiction. And again, of course, if you're familiar with Elliot's music, his soft, defeated vocals are really affecting. So You Want to Be a Superhero by Carissa's Wierd is next. This track is about feeling worthless and numb and dealing with suicidal thoughts. The narrator has this idea that she'll be seen as a hero if she takes her own life. People would be glad she's gone and even be proud of her for going through with it. The haunted, tired vocals really capture that feeling of being empty, defeated, desperately wishing you could feel something. And it's really chilling the way the outro goes from I'll make you proud someday, I just won't be around to see your face, to I'll make you proud today, I just won't be around to see your face. The last song in this section is All My Happiness Is Gone by Purple Mountains. This is a really tragic story. Purple Mountains is the solo project from David Berman of Silver Jews fame, and All My Happiness Is Gone is the second song on the album. And it's an extremely blunt exploration of clinical depression. I keep stressing, pressing on, way deep down at some substratum, feels like something really wrong has happened, and I confess I'm barely hanging on. The chorus is just as bleak. All my happiness is gone, it's all gone somewhere beyond. It feels final. Berman isn't leaving the door open for anything to change. There's no sly winks to the camera, no punchlines. And it's especially harrowing given he would take his own life less than a month after the album was released. The entire album is incredible. If you're unfamiliar, I urge you to give it a listen.
All my happiness is gone.
Okay, jumping back to more songs about death. We'll go for 4th of July by Sufjan Stevens. And of course, Sufjan is another one of those artists who could have multiple entries on this list. It's a near impossible task to isolate his saddest song, but I've gone for 4th of July off Carrie and Lau. This album was written in the shadow of Sufjan's mother's death, and it explores his complicated relationship with her, as well as his relationship with his stepfather. And this song is written in the format of a conversation between Sufjan and his mother while she's in the hospital dying from stomach cancer. Each stanza alternates between them. And it's such a devastatingly tender way to structure the song. You have Sufjan's mother trying to comfort him, encouraging him not to worry about her, instead to focus on making the most of his health. Sufjan's vocals are so delicate, and the little pet names they call each other are so gentle. Shall we look at the moon, my little loon? Or did you get enough love, my little dove? It really feels like we, as listeners, are witnessing the last moments these two have to communicate how much they love each other before it's too late. Those final chances to absolve each other of any grievances they may have had. Okay, What Sarah Said by Death Cab for Cutie is next, and I love the first line of this song. And it came to me then that every plan is a tiny prayer to Father Time. It's very poignant, and it speaks to the heartbreaking circumstance of losing someone when you still had plans, things you wanted to do together. This song is about waiting in the ICU as a loved one is dying. And it's kind of defined by the titular concept, which is really beautiful but really sad. As the narrator is in the waiting room, he's thinking of what Sarah said, that love is watching someone die. And that kind of stopped me in my tracks the first time I heard it. It's horrible, it's difficult to watch someone you love die, but you'll do it. For their sake, you'll push through to give them support and comfort. For all the joy they gave you, for the role they played in your life, you owe it to them. It's the ultimate and final act of love, and you hope others will do the same for you one day. Okay, Electroshock Blues by Eels is next, and this one kills me. This album was largely written in response to the suicide of Mark Everett's sister and the terminal lung cancer of his mother. And there's a number of tracks I could have chosen from this album, but I've gone with the title track. Mark's sister Elizabeth was institutionalized. She was receiving electroshock therapy prior to her passing. And the lyrics from this song are excerpts from a diary she was keeping at the time. They're delivered in a quiet, pained voice, and I'm just going to read out the opening stanza, and that should give you an idea of how raw this song is. Feeling scared today, write down I am okay 100 times the doctors say. I am okay, I am okay, I am not okay.
Another day, not another day.
Okay, now we have a couple of songs about ghosts or the afterlife, starting with Born Yesterday by Quadeca. This is a track from I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, a concept album about this character who takes his own life, returns as a ghost, and is forced to confront the suffering he has caused. This song in particular focuses on the protagonist's mother. And there's a lot going on here, honestly. The protagonist is struggling to reckon with the way his mother is processing her grief. She has said that he's in a better place and everything happens for a reason. And there's every chance that these are things she says to try and shield her heart, to justify what's happened. But it's hard for our protagonist to witness someone he cares for so deeply seemingly move on. And throughout the song, there's this Beatles sample coming in and out, repeating, amongst other things, the phrase, "She no longer needs you." And it creates this pretty excruciating dichotomy, especially given the references the protagonist makes to regretting taking his own life. All he wants to do is turn back time, be back with his mother, and he has to watch her, whether it's genuine or a coping mechanism, move on from him. The bit that kills me the most though is the bridge at the end of the song, which has the line, "All those little things I should have said out loud." It's a potent concept, being haunted by the things you left unsaid, the things that might have eased someone's suffering or let them know what they mean to you, and with the instrumental swells, it's really emotional. Okay, next up we have Unmarked Grave by David Thomas Broughton. This gorgeous song is told from the perspective of a soldier who has been killed in battle and has been buried in a far-off land in an unmarked grave. Just another casualty. And with these resonant, spectral vocals, he laments having to leave the woman he loves behind, without even being able to say goodbye. And the lyrics are simple, but poignant. My body rots while she is weeping, and I remain forever sleeping. Rest my bones from the daily chores, rest my bones forevermore, and she's awaiting my return, I know that will never come. The song ends with what I guess you'd call layered vocals, two separate vocal lines being sung at the same time, repeating for 4 minutes, slowly getting more and more indecipherable. And I've always felt this represents the soldier's spirit slowly fading, maybe as more and more dirt is piled on his body, muffling his lament. It's eerie but so beautiful.
My body rots while she is weeping, and I remain forever sleeping.
Okay, another group of songs focusing on death. Let's go for Screaming Song by Alan Sparhawk with Trampled by Turtles. Alan Sparhawk, one half of legendary slowcore band Low, lost his wife and Low bandmate Mimi Parker in 2022. The song delves into Alan's palpable grief at her passing and his recognition that he'll miss her for the rest of his life. The lyrics are heartbreaking. Take the opening stanza. When you flew out the window and into the sunset, I thought I would never stop screaming. I thought I would never stop screaming your name. The song ends with this incredible howling fiddle which sounds like a materialization of grief itself. It's so visceral and says just as much as any words could. Next is In the Backseat by Arcade Fire. And this song uses the metaphor of a child in the backseat being driven around to represent the presence of a mother in one's life. The song was inspired by the singer Regine's taxi ride to her mother's funeral. She had never learnt to drive. In the song, she's coming to the realization that she's been learning to drive her whole life. Not literally, but her mother Alice had been teaching her, in little ways, how to look after herself, how to forge her own path, for when the time came and she would no longer be around to support her. Regine still feels unprepared. She liked the peace of the back seat where she could watch the countryside. During the climax of the song, the emotion becomes too much for Regine and her delivery devolves into these mournful cries. She howls her sister's name, feeling her pain too. These cries are backed by these gorgeous orchestral swells, and no one does melodrama quite like Arcade Fire. It all works to capture the hopeless enormity of losing someone who's always been there for you. Okay, final song in this section is Your Deep Rest by The Hotelier. The title of the song, Your Deep Rest, is an allusion to death, but also an oronym for You're Depressed. It's fitting and bleak, given the song's exploration of the guilt the narrator feels for failing to spot clues that seem obvious in retrospect, following the suicide of a friend, as well as the discomfort of the idea of going to the funeral, seeing the body and the family of the deceased. I called in sick from your funeral, the sight of your family made me feel responsible, and I found the notes you left behind, little hints and helpless cries. It's bitterly sad, and the harsh emo vocals definitely hit hard.
The sight of your family made me feel responsible.
Okay, a few hip-hop tracks immediately came to mind when I was planning this video, so I thought I'd group them together, starting with Solace by Earl Sweatshirt. And I'm not sure if this counts as a song or an EP, so I'm not going to talk about it in depth, but I couldn't leave it out. One of the most viscerally crushing pieces of music out there, instrumentally and vocally, Earl absolutely nails the feeling of being depressed. Okay, let's follow that up with Good News by Mac Miller. And this isn't really a rap song, but it's by rapper Mac Miller, so I'll include it in this section. And here Mac talks about feeling overwhelmed by pressure and expectation, feeling like life is too much. But the crux of the song revolves around the idea of feeling like a burden when you're struggling, people only wanting to hear good news. Mac alludes to using substances to cope, only feeling good when he's high, which makes people uncomfortable and makes him feel like he can't win either way. He just sounds so weary and defeated, and lyrics like, why can't it just be easy? Why does everybody need me to stay? And all I do is say sorry. Half the time I don't even know what I'm saying it about are so sad. And these themes become all the more tragic considering Mac's passing from a reported drug overdose in 2018, and the song is actually a posthumous release. Next, The Book of Soul by Ab-Soul. Soul talks about a tough childhood, dealing with illness, always feeling like an outsider at high school, until he met the love of his life, fellow musician Alori Joe. And then in 2012, after 7 years together, his world turned upside down when she took her own life, aged 25. The song goes into how her death affected him, using drugs to cope, wanting to hide away from the world. And there's some really beautiful, touching writing. You used to say that I could see the future, you was wrong because you was in it, and I love you in a place where there's no space and time. I close my eyes and I can still hear you singing loud. Finally, let's talk about The Light Part 2 by Brockhampton. There's a strong, introspective verse from Kevin Abstract on here, but the song is all about the hook and the verse from Joba, and that's what we're going to focus on. The song opens with his whispered chorus, penned in reference to his father who took his own life. And it's crushingly sad, with Joba almost bargaining with his dad. The light is worth the wait, I promise. Wait, why did you do it? And screaming, please don't do it. And then his verse bears his innermost grief. It's extremely personal. You can hear the pain in his delivery. He sounds strained, almost like it's a physical effort to get these feelings out. And lines like, didn't trust my intuition when I saw the cracks, I'm sorry, I just bitterly sad.
The light is worth the wait, I promise, wait, why did you do it? The light is worth the wait, I promise.
Okay, let's go into our last two songs about death, starting with Kettering by the Antlers. And right up there with the saddest albums of all time is Hospice by the Antlers. The general theory holds that this album takes the narrative of a hospice worker caring for a terminally ill patient and falling in love with her as a metaphor for a failing, emotionally abusive relationship. And whether you read the lyrics as more straightforward narrative or allegory, they're equally as harrowing. Kettering is the introduction to the album, and over a ghostly piano, Peter Silberman's paper-thin voice narrates the tale of when the nurse first encounters the patient. And straight away, the first line, I wish that I had known in that first minute we met, the unpayable debt that I owed you, speaks to the tendency of the abuser to take and take and take, the never-ending cycle of exploitation. Abusive relationships can be hard to get out of. They can whittle away your confidence and make you feel like you must deserve this. They take their toll in many ways, and if and when the smoke clears, someone who's been abused may look back and wonder how they missed signs early on and how they got drawn into this. There's references on this album and on this song to the patient being abused as a child and this feeding into their own patterns of abuse. There's references to the nurse not heeding people's warnings about the patient, believing he could save her. All round, it's just a very well realised concept, and it can be an uncomfortable listen. Okay, let's now talk about Waiting for You by Nick Cave. A lot of Nick Cave's music could be considered sad, and his voice definitely lends itself to more emotionally potent work. Since his 15-year-old son Arthur died in an accident in 2015 though, he's released some of his most heartbreaking material as he processes his grief. And this very touching song is part of that process. It seems to be that Nick is talking to his wife Susie, letting her know that he's there for her and she can take as long as she needs to grieve and heal and come out the other side of the darkness. Nick is saying he's in this with her. Your soul is my anchor. I never asked to be freed. The song was released 4 years after Arthur's death, and it's a stark reminder that people grieve in different ways and healing is never linear.
Oh, sleep now, take as long as you need.
Okay, coming to the end now guys, we're going to finish up by talking about a few songs that focus on animals. I actually think these are some of the songs I find hardest to listen to personally as a big animal lover. Let's start with Sad 2 by Frankie Cosmos. This is a candid, simple song from bedroom pop artist Frankie Cosmos, and the opening lines are so direct. He was just a dog, now his body's gone. As are the closing lines. I just want my dog back, is that so much to ask? I wish that I could kiss his paws. Next is Betty by Hot Mulligan, which explores a similar concept. Losing your companion, wanting to go back to the way things were, maybe regretting taking things for granted when your pet was healthy. Here, the singer is remembering when his dog Betty used to sleep tucked in a tiny ball, listening while he sang her favourite song. And it's that vivid, relatable imagery that means I have to skip the song every time it comes on when I look over at my old cat curled up in a ball. Okay, to finish up, let's touch on Morning Hollow by Sparklehorse, which was a hidden track on 2001's It's a Wonderful Life. And it's another touching and mournful dedication to a canine companion, one at the end of their life who don't get up when I come into the room. She don't run through the fields anymore. She's having a bed made up by the hot stove so she can have a warm resting place. And your pet's aging is a really hard thing to have to come to terms with.
She don't run through the fields anymore.
Okay, there we go. If you've made it this far, thank you. Go hug someone you love, do something nice. If you enjoyed, please like the video, Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you.